Okay.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Joint UFREFSA Task Force on Forest Education, I want to give you a warm welcome to this event. This event has been designed to launch the publication that is entitled Building a Successful Forestry Career in Africa, Inspirational Stories and Opportunities. The authors of the book are Alex Onatunji, Juliet Aeshin, Fola Babalola, Escobia Akelo, Opeyemi Adeyemi, and myself. I am Sandra Rodriguez, the UFRO coordinator of the task force and professor of Universidad Autónoma de Chihuahua in Mexico, currently on a sabbatical in Universidad EAN, Colombia. The launching of this book is a perfect way to celebrate the International Day of Youth. This book has been written to encourage African young population to pursue a degree in forestry. At this point, I would like to provide some housekeeping announcements. Please keep your video off and also your microphone. And if you want to write a comment or question, you can do it on the chat box at any time. While we wait for other participants to connect, I'm kindly inviting you to review your chat and click on the link we are providing. This link will take you to the Mentimeter Pool website. Please write the code and answer our first question. If you can access the web, please answer the question in our chat box. And the question is, where are you joining us from? Okay. Okay, we have people from Norway, South Africa, Austria, Nigeria, Norway, Uganda, Poland, Mexico, Germany, United Kingdom, Colombia, France, Serbia, and in our chat, we have people from Kenya, Thailand, Nigeria, Botswana, excellent. You're very welcome. Sierra Leone, Spain, excellent. Again, you're very welcome. I am happy to see people from all over the world participating in this great event that it has been, as I said before, written, thinking in mind, having in mind that the youth population is going to be the future role players of forest management and conservation.
No, this is not mine. This mine that is Zoom is like this.
Okay. I would like to, at this point, to welcome Professor Michael Kleine. He is the IUFRO Deputy Executive Director and the coordinator of the Special Program for Development of Capacities, known as SPDC. This book has been sponsored by SPDC. The task force team want to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Kleine, Jennings Burns, and all SPDC staff for their commitment and encouragement to bring this project to light. Welcome, Dr. Kleine. He's going to give us some words.
Yes, thank you very much, Sandra. Dear colleagues, dear friends, it is really an honor for me to address this meeting today on this occasion of launching the book, Building a Successful Forestry Career in Africa. I think this is a wonderful initiative. And from SPDC's and UFRO side, I really would like to congratulate the colleagues in IFSA as well as the task force who have actually endeavored to develop the content of this very, very important book, because building the career is not a very straightforward process. And I think it is so important that actually young people take the initiative and of course, being supported by the entire professional community to really have a successful forestry career. And particularly in this very, very important continent, Africa, with so many forest resources and different situations where forestry professionals are needed. So from SPDC's point of view, we are really very happy that we were able to support this in terms of layout and editing, printing the book. And of course, we also continue now to help IFSA as well as the task force to distribute the book throughout the world, mainly in Africa. So we are ready actually to finance that distribution. Very briefly, the topic is how networking organizations benefit forestry students' careers. I think it is first of all very important that students start early networking, early in their studies, to do networking, actually to prepare for the time once they want to enter into the job market and actually really have completed their studies. I mean, as we all know, networking helps in learning, obtaining insights from different locations in the world, connecting to people, and particularly in a globalized world where it became a global village of so many people, we need to work together. And then networking, of course, is the important means actually to know about the problems of others, knowing about the solutions, and even learning so that solutions for forestry and problems actually can be transferred to many different locations where they are needed. But of course, the networking will not be, should not be completed once the career has been started. I think it's a lifelong learning is necessary through networking. And here organizations like UFRO or like the Forest Research Network of Sub-Saharan Africa, FONESA, and others can actually help. I think you all know the system of UFRO with working party and research groups as voluntary networking of very, very different topics and specializations, from ecology to management, to technical issues, to social issues, and policy issues actually are being discussed. And we only can recommend that students and early career scientists, as well as early career professionals in the field, actually join these kind of working party meetings, connect with the groups, share their issues, even share their topics for the master thesis, BSc thesis, and obtain insights from highly knowledgeable people around the world in terms of getting hints on what kind of literature can be used, where are other researchers who are facing the same issues or dealing with the same issues, and so on. So networking really generates a lot of benefits. However, networking also means a lot of work, actually, because one needs to continue communicating, one needs to deliver certain information to others, join, of course, physical meetings, as long as this is possible now, as well as online meetings. So it takes quite some time, actually, and needed to be invested into networking so that it yields a successful outcome. But of course, during the career, it's important that not only networking with other scientists in the scientific arena is necessary, but also between science and practitioners, science and policymakers. So in a nutshell, I think that UFRO, as well as particularly for Africa, the Forest Research Network of Sub-Saharan Africa with its working parties and thematic groups would be very, very important starting points in your career or starting your professional life, actually, to join this group and contribute. On one hand, of course, to contribute own information, but also obtain a lot of information and experiences from those participants in these groups. Well, and with this, I think the book is an extremely valuable resource now, and should be distributed widely in Africa, so that many more actually join networks. And of course, we at UFRO headquarters in Vienna and all the office holders are always very much willing to help people coming on board to do voluntary networking within UFRO. And with this, I wish you a very, very successful launch. And I hope that many professionals and those who would like to become professionals in the forestry sector actually will read the book and will benefit from this book. Thank you very much for your attention. Back to you, Sandra.
Thank you, Dr. Klein, and thank you very much for your words. For those who just joined this event, I want to welcome you again, and please write the country where are you coming from on the chat box. And I also would like to remember some housekeeping announcements. Please keep your video off and also your microphone. And another announcement is that we are recording this meeting for your information. Next presentation. I would like to introduce you to the work that the joint UFRO-ICSA task force has been done in Africa. Next, please. So the joint UFRO task force was created in 2015. It was an initiative of the students who want us to, at a UFRO site, who want us to be part of their work that they had been done regarding their own education. So they approached a UFRO, which is the International Union of Forest Research Organization, looking for a collaboration to encourage international discussions on forest education and capacity building, also to identify, compile, and communicate the gaps and challenges in forest education, especially highlighting new fields of forest, and to enhance forestry students' mobility and education opportunities. Some of the activities that we had done in the task force related to Africa were a project that we started in 2017 in 10 countries. This project is Global Outlook on Forest Education. But at the time, Africa didn't participate, but in 2018, five African countries, could you please click next, join us, and we have this report also done in Africa, this research. The research was aimed to identify what are the competences that a forest student needed to be a successful professional. The report is in our website and is in our records. So if you want a copy of the report, we can distribute it to you. Please write it in the chat with your email address and we will send the report to you. Next, please. We also have participated in different trainings in Africa, trainings related to entrepreneurship, communication, writing research thesis, and some other activities. We have supported the North African Students Meeting that has been reunite more than 500 students from all countries in Africa. The North African Student Association belongs to the IFSA. They've been very active students supporting all the projects of IUFRO and also IFSA. What is the future of the task force? We hope to continue encouraging professors and research to investigate our contribution to the well-being. And of course, we invite professors from Africa and students from Africa to support our work and to work in the region. We are currently doing research on forest education, and this research is being done with some other institutions, like the European Forest Institution, the FAO, C4, and the ITTO, the International Tropical Timber Organization. And we continue to enhance forest students' mobility and educational opportunities. Now, because of the time that we are having due to the pandemic, we are doing most of our work on most of our meetings on Zoom or any of the platforms, videos, and we keep working and also encourages African students to be part of these organizations. I would like you to invite you to be to join in our networks. We have a special web for forest education where you can find all the information of the task force and also the reports. And also we have the GFIS where we so far have some information about education, educational programs, some content about education courses that are for free. And if you need more information, you can drop me an email. My email address is there in the screen. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Mr. Alex Sonatunji. He is the IFSA coordinator for the Joint UFRO-IFSA Task Force on Forest Education. He is a graduate in Forestry and Wildfire from University of Illinois, Nigeria. He is currently a master's student at University of Lleida, Spain, as part of the International Erasmus Mundus Master Program. You're welcome, Alex.
Thank you very much, Sandra, for the introduction. I will be talking about the book itself. And good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all of us, and I welcome us to the meeting once again. I thank everybody for joining this meeting. I'm going to be presenting about the book, Building a Successful Forestry Career in Africa, Inspirational Stories and Opportunities. One of the quotes which I love is that the only man I envy is the man who has not yet been to Africa, for he has so much to look forward to. This is from Richard Mullin, one of the great philosophers in Africa, and he talks a lot about Africa. this is a beautiful continent with a lot of vibrant young population. I'm talking about basically few information about the book. The inspiration behind this book. In 2019, there was a annual inaugural Africa Strategic Meeting of IFSA, and one of the key points there is that forestry education remains unattractive in the region, as many students do not choose to study forestry willingly. And also, collaborating that in my own personal research of 2 universities in Nigeria, about 95% of the students we offered admission without choosing forestry. Then Sandra mentioned about the global outlook on forest education. I was privileged to lead a team who wrote the report for Nigeria, and we found out that getting a job, especially in the forestry field, often took longer years to get for forestry graduates in Nigeria. However, the story is not all gloomy for Africa foresters, and this is the reason IFSA and the JTF in particular have been organizing quite a number of activities in the region. Here is a picture of a conference held at the University of Ilorin in 2019. The title of the conference was Enhancing Forest Education Through Student Association. I was also there as part of the speakers in this conference. Aside this conference, the JTF, IFSA has been sponsoring quite a lot of meetings in Africa. And in IFSA, we organize 2 meetings annually. We have the Northern Africa and the Southern Africa regional meetings, which has been held in different countries and in different times. Even this 2021 was held online. The JTF has sponsored some country studies, and when the idea also is that many students and parents are often not sure about what career in the sector they can look like, what career in the sector of forestry can look like after graduation. So students are oftentimes wondering, what will I do after this degree? Many students ask, and all this information gets to the hands of the JTF and IFSA. So this book was written to provide answers to some of the many questions students ask about career in forestry. The young, now, after we look at the problem with the JTF created a project called the Young African Forestry Publications Project. And the idea of the project is about 3 objectives. One is to showcase success stories of young African forestry professionals. Another is to look at tertiary institutions offering forestry program in Africa. And the last one is to look at networking organizations forestry students can join from Africa. A unique research approach was used for this research in such a way that it combines both empirical and other data sets. Then it is an African solution to African problem. The authors are likely African, they are all from Africa countries, and it's also written by majority of young people. Now, yeah, may please control the slide. Okay. This is the project team. So the project was spearheaded by young people and for young people, and the team received the encouragement and support of many IFSA and IFRO members, as well as officials from the webmaster to the communication. We received quite a lot of support, and we appreciate it. Now, I'm going to talk about the methodology. In 2019, we had the idea of this book, and we began fundraising. And we want to thank Michael and the SPDC team, the IFRO SPDC. Please go back 1 minute. Yes, the IFRO SPDC confirmed to print and design the book for us, while the joint IFRO-IFSA Task Force on Forest Education contributed to the book itself, as well as IFSA. Then by 2020, we fully drafted the concept note, and we made an open call for student researchers, and we received 13 applications from 5 countries, and we selected 2 of them as part of the people who did this work. Okay, next is that, sorry, Yemi, maybe you control the slide. Okay. So please hear me. Can you go back one slide? Okay, another slide. Okay, please, I'll share from my hand. Okay. Sorry for the delay. Okay. So this, I mentioned earlier that we had 3 partners, the IFRO SPDC, as well as the Joint Task Force and IFSA. And the overall goal of the project is to motivate and inspire young people to pursue forestry-related studies in Africa, as well as careers. Then we had these 3 objectives, which I mentioned earlier, and this is our project team. We did fundraising and we drafted the concept note with the support of many experts, both from IFSA and IFRO. And after then, in 2020, between June, July, and August, we made an open call for role models. We received over 250 applications from 25 African countries. We also evaluated and selected the role models to be featured in the book, as well as interviewed the selected role models. So early this year, we wrote the stories and we also reviewed them by the role models. The next thing we did after doing that was to review the book, and the book was peer reviewed by the YAFP team, external reviewer, as well as IFRO in about 10 stages. And the next thing was to design the book in a professional format, as well as to print it. And today we have the book launch. I want to say the relevance of this book. Probably this is the first of its kind, targeted at young people who are studying forestry or who will study forestry in the future in Africa. Also, there is powerful storytelling through this book. We have showcased 23 successful people, which include students, early career professionals, leaders, and mentors who have created and who have contributed well to the forestry sector in Africa. So, and you're going to read their stories. And what we learned from this storytelling is that these stories and their pathway mirrors the lives of an average Africans on their way to success. So you'll be able to relate with them beyond you reading books that are not targeted to your countries. You'll be able to see what others people are able to do. Next is that there's information and engagement. Now, in the book, for our research, we listed about 101 universities across 25 African countries where you can study forestry, and you can learn about 23 organizations for networking and capacity building. We moved ahead and added some other new things to make the book very robust. We provided tips on scholarship application because a lot of African students want to apply for scholarship. They want to progress in their career. They want to have a master's degree. They want to have a PhD. Then we also look at a peek into some fascinating careers in forestry. Beyond the forest, beyond the trees, are there any other things I can do as a forester? This book tries to provide. Then it also have improved the visibility of it will improve the visibility of the forestry profession in Africa. The lessons and reflections from this book includes that from our research, we found out that there are so many untold stories or untold success stories, forestry career stories from Africa, and just less than 10% of the stories which we received are featured. So that means there is still more and more and more. And one thing is that your own story too may be the next if an opportunity arises to rewrite or write another book of this nature. Then I want to also conclude that forestry in general is making progress in Africa and beyond, with a lot of our young people involved in tree planting. I'll make an example of Joseph Indumuli, who has planted about 10 million trees in the Kwale region of Kenya in less than a decade, who has helped to plant about 10 million trees. Now, we may want to look, now that we have published the book, is that the end of improving forest education in Africa? No. So I want to say that the work of improving forest education in Africa and beyond continues. The curriculum, the structures, the careers, the green jobs, a lot of things still need to be researched on, a lot of things still need to be done. So we are not resting on our house, both from the JTF side, IFSA, and AIFO. We have done our best to contribute this little piece, but we know that the work continues. I want to say that in Africa, we say that it takes a village to raise a child. That is, it may be a single family that will come up with an idea that will give birth to a child. Yes, it may just be a small team of individuals that come up with the idea, but a lot of people, many organizations contributed to the success of this project, from sharing our information, from broadcasting our open call, to different kind of roles different people have taken. We want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. And I want to say that for the Young African Forest Professionals Publication Project, we will continue to raise successful forestry professionals in Africa. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Alex, for summarizing 2 years of work in 15 minutes. At this point, I would like to thank our role models. Your willingness to participate and share your stories will certainly make someone's life different. It is my honor to invite Professor Mike Winfield. He is the immediate past president of IUFRO and the founder of Forestry and Agricultural Biotechnology Institute, FABI. This institution belongs to the University of Pretoria, South Africa. Through FABI, Dr. Mike Winfield has generously sponsored all of our activities at the task force that we have done in Africa, including the design, preparation, and publication of this book. The task force members want to express our gratitude to Dr. Winfield, and we also welcome you to this event. Is Dr. Winfield there?
Hello, Sandra. Dr. Winfield is not yet on the platform. I mean, yes, Professor Mike is not on the platform.
You need to unmute him.
Okay, morning, Borges. Sorry. He's unmuted now.
I think we have it. You have released me. Can you all hear me? Alex, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you see me?
Yes.
That is great. I can't see myself, and I don't need to do that. But what an incredible pleasure it is to be able to join you this afternoon. Well, it is afternoon, I suppose, for many of us. In just a few minutes, firstly, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to say a few words. I'm Mike Winfield. I'm sitting in FABI, in the Forestry and Agricultural Biotechnology Institute at the University of Pretoria, as Sandra has already said. And it is for me a very special occasion to be able to see this important book coming to a conclusion. It's a topic that is incredibly close to my heart, as many of you know. As an educator, I have spent my entire career as an educator working in the academia. So education to me is incredibly important, and as is the field of forestry in its forests and forestry in its very broad sense. And many of you have heard me speak on this topic previously. But I want to, in starting, also thank the task force and IFSA for what you have done for me personally. In 2014, when I took over as president of UFRO at the Salt Lake City World Congress, I made a commitment to the world's forestry community to do a number of things. And perhaps the most important of those was to do everything I could do to promote forest education and then the world of forests in Africa. Being an African, I think I'm now the 5th generation African, this is a topic incredibly important to me. So it was an incredibly great privilege. It was a pleasure to be able to raise money, and I must give credit to the South African government who provided me with money that I was able to then pass over to the task force, and thus to enable some of the activities that you've taken on, and then, as Sandra said, the completion of the book. Now, I had early sight of this book, well, not of the book itself, but of summary pieces. So I can tell you that I am looking forward with very, very great interest to seeing the completed product, to holding this product in my hand. But what I want to especially thank the IFSA and then the IFSA UFRO task force for helping me to be successful as a UFRO president, because what you were able to do is take some of the leverage, the funding that I was able to raise, and achieve something really important for the future of forests and forestry in the world in producing this book. So you actually took over a large portion of the goal and helped me to meet, at least to some extent, the promise that I had made and in starting as the UFRO president. You have asked me to talk about FABI's contributions to forests and to the world of agroforestry, and I can't do that without giving a very long lecture, and that is the reason that I'm not using slides here. But what I want to say is this, that FABI is a very large institute today. I had the privilege of founding the institute some 20-something years ago, 22, 23 years ago, and at that time we focused entirely in the world of forests, and particularly in forest protection, and more specifically in the biotechnology areas that contribute to forest protection. The Institute has grown massively. It now accommodates some 300 postgraduate students, and they work across a very broad range of fields. And all of them have something in some way to do with forests and forestry, although you might not see that very specifically when one looks at a project, say, that is a bioinformatics project. But what I want to do, and it's really in closing, because I only have a few minutes with you this afternoon, but to take an example, and the example is of the world we're living in today, in a world where we're having to contend with a pandemic, and that is a human pandemic, but it could easily have been a tree pandemic. And if you close your eyes and think about everything that's happened to us in the last year, since the beginning of the pandemic, at the beginning of last year, and all of the research and all of the education that has contributed to where we are today, where we're, I believe, coming to the end of the worst of this terrible scourge. Everything there could have been a tree health problem. And if one thinks right back to the early biotechnology, to identifying a pathogen, to sequencing the genome, to understanding how it's spread around the world, so an enormous amount of science and education captured there. And then to the social issues, learning about epidemiology, social distancing, every single aspect of what we've seen in the world we live in fighting COVID applies to forests and forestry. And capturing that within the context of FABI, that's more or less an example of how FABI operates, driving the future of science, of education across disciplines. And that's, to me, incredibly important. And the beauty of the world of forest and working in forest and forestry is that it is a field that is multidisciplinary. It crosses every possible field that one can think of. And we frighteningly living now in a world where the forests of the world are terribly, terribly threatened. And in fact, that the destruction of forests has something to do with COVID as well, as many of you will understand. So education in forestry and education in forestry in Africa is deeply, deeply important. And it makes this product of the UFRO-EFSA task force so incredibly important. And Alex, I think you said something about the work continuing. And Sandra alluded to the fact that you hope that the task force will continue. And I really hope that that is what will happen. This is clearly a task unfinished, a massive undertaking, clearly a beautiful, beautiful piece of work, inspirational, focusing on key issues in education, such as mentorship, sharing the stories, but it is a task that must absolutely continue. And I was really incredibly happy to hear you focus on that particular issue. The future of forests, and the future of the forests of the world, the future of forestry as a profession linked to forests lies deeply and solely in the field of education. And that is what you focused on, and that is what's so incredibly important about the product, this book, and the launch today. So a very deep congratulations to all of you that have been involved. I had more words and having the privilege to write the foreword to this book, so you can read more of what I said there. But thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. It's a great pleasure and a privilege. It's wonderful to be able to be with so many people in so many parts of the world. And I just hope that we'll all be able to be together in person sometime soon. So thank you very much and congratulations. Can you hear me? Are we still here?
Yes, we can hear you.
So did you hear me speak?
Yes, we can hear you.
So did you hear me thank you and say goodbye?
Yes, Dr. Winfield. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very
I'm
much.
sorry, it's absolutely unclear to me whether you could hear me, and I hope you did.
No, I was muted too. Thank you very much, Dr. Winfield, for your speech and also for stressing the importance of forest education in Africa. Again, we as the task force want to thank Fabi for all the support you have done, given to us during these past years of the task force. Of course, we will continue our work and we will try our best to support African students and students all around the world. At this time, I would like to invite you, the audience, to answer our second question in the Mentimeter poll. If you can access the web again, please write your answers on the chat box. Alex, can you share?
Yes, I would share right away. I'll paste the link on the chat box and share my screen.
Our second question, is there not awareness of forestry as a profession in Africa? You just need to type yes or not.
Please, you need to click submit when you're done.
Okay, I can read some of the answers from the chat. Maybe. There is a little awareness. No. There is little. No. There is indeed a lot, or at least from Central Africa. Little, not enough. Inadequate. No. Okay. We hope that this book will bring more awareness to the forestry as a profession in Africa. It seems that it comes right in time, since most of the answers I can read from the chat are not or little.
Okay.
Now, it is my honor to invite our doctoral student, Juliet Ashe. She has been the IFSA Deputy Coordinator for the Task Force for the past 3.5 years. She is a junior researcher at the European Forest Institute, working in a project related to green jobs. A project that also has roots within the task force. She is currently a doctoral student at Freiburg University in Germany. She is from Kenya, from where she holds a bachelor degree in agroforestry. You're very welcome, Juliet.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for the kind introduction. And thank you to the speakers before me for your inspiring messages. So in the next 5 minutes, I will try to talk about how to build a successful forestry career. But of course, it takes longer to do it, but I will do it in 5 minutes. And I will be focusing on the role of extracurricular activities. Next slide, please. Okay, so in the project that I work for, we conducted a study last year, and we asked students and recent graduates how their studies prepared them for a future career in forestry. And most of them felt like they were not prepared very well, as you can see from the red box. And because of this, next slide, please. Most of them felt unprepared, or they were not sure if they were going to find a job in the sector after graduation. So we asked them what could be done. Okay, the control of the slides, please be slow. So we asked them what could be done to alleviate the situation. And next slide, yes, there. So they proposed a couple of activities, and some of them included mentorships, others talked about traineeships, others talked about field exercises and excursions, among many others. So I will try to elaborate on a few of them. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. So here we will be talking about a few extracurricular activities that can contribute to building your forestry career as a student. One of them is volunteering in youth organizations. One of the organizations that you can join as a student, please don't be, you're too fast, whoever is controlling the slides, please. So one of the organizations that you can join is the International Forestry Students Association, and here you can serve in different positions that they have. So check out their website. They have open calls for some positions that you can volunteer for, and then you can also volunteer as a conference delegate, and you can also participate in their capacity building activities. And there are also many other organizations, for example, the Young Forestry Professionals, and then we also have the Youth in Landscape. We also have the UNMGCY, so this is major groups, children and youth, that you can volunteer for. And then another activity that you can volunteer for is traineeships. And this usually comes in the form of being paid or unpaid, and it can be in local or international organizations, depending on where you want to do it. So you can check out this book because we have a list of organizations where you can find traineeships. And then next, please. Yes, you can also participate in conferences. Now that we have the pandemic, most of the conferences are virtual, so you don't have any excuse not to participate in them. And you can participate as a speaker, you can participate as a session organizer, you can also be a rapporteur, moderator, and so many other things. And you can also attend the pre-conference trainings that are usually conducted before these conferences. Next, please. And there are also mentorship programs that you can participate in. So mentorship usually takes different forms. So there's the institutional mentorship programs, then there's face-to-face mentorship, there are peer-based mentorships, and here you get to interact with professionals from the field of forestry and also your peers and exchange. Next slide, please. So why is it important to engage in extracurricular activities? Number one is that you get to learn new skills, a whole lot of skills that you don't necessarily learn in class. Networking skills, you get to learn about negotiation skills, critical thinking, working in an international environment. If you decide to look for a traineeship in an international organization, for example. Next, please. You also get to grow your network because you meet with your peers and you also meet with professionals in your field of interest. And last but not least, you also get to gain knowledge and information about what is happening in your field of interest and also find out how to actively contribute. Next slide, please. In conclusion, next. I can say that extracurricular activities are very important and students should embrace them. And they provide skills that are not necessarily learned in class or in school. And different stakeholders can contribute to a student's successful career by offering extracurricular activities. So for example, education institutions can offer field trips and can also offer room for work experiences for their students in the curriculum. And then the employers can also offer traineeships to students. They can also organize job information days together with academic institutions. They can also provide excursion opportunities to students. Next slide, please. Next. Okay, yeah, the next slide is the last one. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Juliet, for providing these very insightful tips on how to build a successful career in forestry. And also the importance of extracurricular activities. So by the way, all the work that we've done in the task force are extracurricular activities. Thank you very much, Juliet. Our next speaker is Dr. Folaranmi Babalola, well known as Dr. Fola. Dr. Fola is an associate professor at University of Illinois, Nigeria. He has a vast experience supervising and mentoring students. He was awarded the Vice Chancellor's Postdoctoral Fellowship and Extraordinary Lecturer to Forest Science Postgraduate Program at the University of Pretoria, South Africa. He has also been an active member of YAFP. He's currently acting as a Deputy Coordinator of the Working Group 6.09 on Forest Education. Please welcome Dr. Fola.
He has been omitted.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I have a very weak connection here. So can you hear me, Alex?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. I would advise that maybe you should turn off your video.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I just turned off my video here now. So, is it okay now?
Yes, it's okay. It's okay. You can continue, please.
Alex, is it okay? Can I go on?
Yes, yes, yes. It's okay, sir. You can continue.
All right. Thank you very much for giving me the platform. Okay, thank you so much for giving me the platform to speak this afternoon. Good afternoon from Nigeria. Good morning and good evening from all over the world. As has been introduced, I'm Fola Babalola, and I'm currently an associate professor at the University of Ilorin here in Nigeria. What I've been quickly had to speak on is on why and how to apply for scholarships as students. We know when we are talking about academics and when we are talking about studying, having scholarships is one of those benefits that you can actually utilize to make a career in whatever chosen profession you belong to. But as we all know, we're all speaking about forestry today, and a lot of things have been on forestry where institutions record very low turnout. So how can we progress in forestry? One of such things you can benefit from is scholarship. And there are a lot of scholarships out there that you can utilize, that you can benefit from. So today I'm going to give you just very little tips, some tips that you can utilize, that you can follow, and this can get you a kind of scholarship. The first thing that I want to speak about is what has already been said. It has to do with you making up your mind to study forestry. Yes, a lot of people did, a lot of students.
Sorry, Prof, you can continue. Oh.
Is
You
Dr.
need,
Fola?
he's on the meeting, but I guess he muted himself mistakenly.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm very sorry for that. We are having issue of network connection here. So I'm saying the first thing that you have to think about is you making up your mind on time to study forestry. Because so many students found themselves in forestry without choosing it. And if you want to get scholarship in forestry, if you want to really make a kind of success in getting scholarship in forestry, you have to first make up your mind. You have to decide that this is a course for you to study. So with this, you're going to get good grade. If you have good grade, then you can prepare the foundation for you to apply for scholarship. Number two that I want to advise you to do as a tip in getting scholarship is to get the right information at the right time in putting together your application. So most brilliant and qualified students who would have secured scholarship lack necessary information. And if you don't have the necessary information, there's no way you can get the information. And the next thing that has to go with this is you have to study a call for scholarship. Whenever you get a call, I normally tell my colleague or my student that if you have about 10 days to apply for a scholarship, you can spend 50% in studying the call, in knowing about the call, in knowing what it really entails. Because in the call, you can get the secret on how you're going to apply that right. So you have to get the right information at the right time. And again, you have to keenly study that information you obtain in the call. So as a result, do not start working on your application until you understand the call. So most applicants miss vital point without studying the call. So I will advise you as student that you keenly and seriously study the call before you put forward your application. Another thing I want to advise you as a tip in getting scholarship is you should personally seek for information. Yes, I believe in networking. Yes, I believe in you asking people for information, but I strongly believe in personal effort in getting that appropriate information. Search for internet, search on the internet, search for that scholarship in books, in magazine, wherever you can have it yourself. And when you have developed the personal list, from all this searching, you develop a personal list. So when you develop the personal list of the scholarship, which is relevant for you, you can now go ahead and look for how and when to apply for them. So work towards putting together your application after you have developed the skill. Now, I will take another one again, which has to seek for appropriate assistance. You can't work alone. A lot have been said here, even by Juliet, that you need to form a network. Don't feel shy, don't feel embarrassed, don't feel secretive in asking for people for help. So I want to advise you that once you want to seek for scholarship, you have to seek for assistance. Build mentor, ask people who are supposed to be like a mentor to you. Have a mentor and let them mentor you. Let them teach you on how to go about this. We have found ourselves in that kind of a situation before. Some people we surrounded ourselves will actually help us. So that will take me to the next point, which talks about you building yourself with like-minded people. Have friends with who are like-minded. People who can counsel you, people who can advise you. So instead of just joining some social network that will not benefit, that will not be of good benefit to you, I will advise that you join academic or professional online groups or social media that discuss all this information about scholarship, that guides you on how to apply for scholarship, that teach you on how to apply for scholarship. So have friends, make friends of people with like minds. Next thing I want to quickly mention is that to have this kind of scholarship that we're talking about, you should participate in seminars, participate in conferences, in workshops, even webinars. We have a lot of free webinars going on online. Try to join them. No knowledge is a waste. So please try to attend this online forum. The next one is for postgraduate scholarships. Please, when you are applying, try and showcase the study you did when you were in undergraduate or when you were in your first degree. I want you to showcase it in such a way that you will appear like somebody who can conduct a research, somebody who already have an experience in research. So make sure that you showcase your research and bring out the findings, the important knowledge that you have contributed to academics. And with this, you are going to at least make a hedge among your colleagues. The next one is your CV. A number of people just generate a generic CV and send it whenever they are applying for something. I want you to customize your CV whenever you are applying for any scholarship. Make sure that your CV is tailored towards that particular scholarship. Maybe there is a kind of experience they are looking for. Maybe there's a kind of skill they are looking for. If you have those ones, make sure that you highlight them and let them come out very bright or very legible enough in your CV. So hence the experience you have gathered, especially experience you have gathered over the year, maybe in job, in vacation, in internship, in volunteering, let all this showcase in your CV. Now, I'll quickly take the next one. Ensure that you get referees who know you properly. Referee reports now count a lot when we're talking about scholarship. Don't just get referee that will just write generic letters for you. Those who can explain your abilities, those who can explain your potential, and all this will count for you when they are reading your application. Do not spend all your years in the university without knowing somebody who can vie for you, who can really write reference for you. And let me be rounding off gradually. Invest your valuable time and resources in what can make you productive. In putting together that winning scholarship application, read wide. A number of students want to apply for scholarship without reading, without having information in their mind, in their head. So I want to advise that you read wide, consult a lot of books, consult online materials, read, use Google to search as you put your scholarships applications together. So be open, and then I hope you're going to get a success response at the end of the day. Now, finally, it is very important that you keep motivating yourselves about forestry and your future career in that profession. If you keep motivating yourself in forestry, this will prepare you in writing a very good application for scholarship. So gone are those days that we see forestry as a second-class profession. There are lots of green jobs out there. There are lots of diversification in forestry out there. So many countries, government, even financial institutions and funding agencies are ready to give money for forestry as scholarships and even funding and other grants. So I want to say that you should look beyond the sky. Believe in yourself. Discover your potential as a forestry student or as a forestry graduate with a bright future. I wish you good luck. I wish you success as you pursue your career and as you put forward that application. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Fola, for your tips, valuable tips to prepare ourselves to get a scholarship. I would like to welcome Escovia Akel. She is a research associate at Makerere University, Uganda. She holds a master's degree in environment and development from the University of Edinburgh, United Kingdom, and a Bachelor of Conservation, Forestry and Products, majoring in Forest Products Engineer from Makerere University, Kampala. Escovia has been an active advocate for forestry education in Africa. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for that introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, depending on where you're joining us from. I am going to share with us the role of networking institutions in forestry education. But before I do that, I would like us to first understand what they are. Next slide, please. So by networking institutions, we refer to both the civil society organizations and the institutions affiliated to governments. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. Actually, go to the next one. Yeah, so one slide back, please. Hear me? Okay, yes, right there. We're talking about the government institutions right now. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that depending on the governance structure in our countries, these may vary, but generally institutions in this category are those that are run by the state. So they could be ministries, they could be departments, or they could be authorities. Now, as we move to the next slide, my guidance here would be that when you're looking for these institutions, don't limit your search to only those that are related to forestry, because where the world is headed, even financial institutions are involved in forestry, especially through their corporate social responsibility. Now, according to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and that is the OECD, CSOs are defined to include all non-state and non-market organizations in which people organize themselves to pursue shared interests in the public domain. So in a discussion like this one, we focus on those that have activities and interests in the forestry sector. But this book focused on international and regional organizations with the assumption that folks are fairly aware of those that are locally based in their countries. So we feature 23 networking organizations. Each of these has a brief background information and their contact information. But I'd like you to note that these contact information were valid at the time of publishing. So we targeted international and regional organizations that have activities directly related to forestry and could benefit forestry professionals. And this could be in terms of capacity building, it could be employment and funding, among others. But to keep our expectations in check, this list is not exhaustive. We all know that there are thousands of organizations out there. So this should just motivate you to broaden your search as your interests deem fit. Next slide, please. So now we delve into the role of these institutions, and first and foremost, these networking institutions owe it to the rest of the world to have informative and user-friendly websites and other information dissemination platforms, because these are the link and the bridge between them and the rest of the world. In influencing the research agenda, institutions become the link between policy and practice. So they generate research problems, they generate problems that are solved through rigorous research. And this ensures that forestry education becomes more impactful in solving everyday challenges. And also under this role, the institutions can support forestry education through supporting field practical sessions. And they can do this by providing land, especially for field trials, or providing technical support as and when is needed. They can also participate in knowledge transfer through guest lecturing Now, guest lecturers can be individuals from networking organizations who have a wealth of experience. So they can participate in conventional lectures or seminars, and this is done really depending on the arrangement under which this is being conducted. Next, the networking institutions can also play a key role in the review of curricula in forestry institutions. This basically ensures that the knowledge being imparted to forestry students is up to date and in sync with the industry, and that the graduates are fit for purpose. And in the end, it won't just be the employers who are confident in the graduates, but the graduates will also be confident in their abilities. A classic example of this is recently the World Agroforestry spearheaded the review of the agroforestry curriculum in Uganda. And this is something that other institutions can pick up on as well. And forestry graduates through internships, through graduate trainings, through apprenticeships, the list is endless. Next slide, please. Now, funding of forestry education is a bit straightforward, but I'll give some examples, and these include provision of study scholarships, research grants, and facilitation to attend conferences, among others. The institutions can also impact forestry by influencing policies at different scales that enable proper running of forestry programs. Now, while the government-affiliated institutions are at the forefront of this, the civil society organizations can participate by facilitating these policy processes whenever they can. Now, we all know that there are several membership organizations in our countries and beyond. And these can contribute to forestry education by tailoring packages that are friendly to especially student associations and societies, and also for the early career professionals, especially when it comes to membership fees and the benefits that come with being a member. Now, buying the potential alludes to the fact that fresh graduates and early career professionals don't have many years of experience to back them up when an opportunity presents itself. But they have the potential, they have the will, and they have the zeal to deliver, at least for most of them. So giving them a chance to prove themselves is actually what may break the glass ceiling for them. And lastly, because the networking institutions interface more with the local communities, they can play a major role in changing their perceptions towards forestry, equipping them with the knowledge and skills that they require to further forestry, not just as a career, but as a lifestyle, because that is where we are headed. I know this list could go on, and you probably have some points out there that I haven't mentioned here, but the list is endless. So allow me end it here. And I want to thank you so much for your kind attention. Over to you, Sandra.
Thank you, Escovia, for providing this the information about institutions and how they can help students to go beyond their careers and the impact in Africa, of course. We have the honor to have with us Dr. Agus Temu. He is a well-known researcher in forest education in Africa. He has large experience working in different international organizations and universities. He has more than 100 publications related to forestry and development and forest education, of course, in Africa. On behalf of the task force members, we want to thank Dr. Temu for supporting this project. His comments and suggestions were all important to us. You're very welcome, Dr. Temu.
Thank you very much. I think I'm going to share my screen. Can you hear me? I'm going to share my screen.
Yes, we can hear you. You can share your screen.
Okay. Please, thank you. Thank you so much. And there we go. I'll make a presentation to you all. Just, Okay. First of all, let me thank everyone for the presentation.
Sorry, Prof. We can't see your slide.
You cannot see my slides?
Yes.
Maybe something is not quite working well here. System is not working there. I've sent my slides also, so maybe they can be presented from there.
We didn't receive it.
Oh, I sent them early this morning. So you cannot see my slides now. I've said share screen. Can you see them now? Hello, I've said share screen.
Okay, we can see, no problem. Okay, yes, it's coming up now.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll go straight to the presentation. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I say let forestry education grow in Africa. Well, IFSA has done a wonderful job in getting a lot of work done and have gained great experience in analyzing forestry education on the continent and globally as well. Africa's forestry education is complex and challenging at the moment. The stories I have read in the document developed by IFSA are quite compelling and exciting, and I understand their commitment to forestry is extremely important and it's really valued. They want changes that will create more jobs. They want changes that see the benefit of local communities and to have also global benefits. And individually, as professionals, they want to be satisfied that they are doing a good job. I just want to bring a note to you that at the African Forest and Wildlife Commission meeting held in Kukuza in South Africa in 2020, it was quite clear that forest education currently offered in Africa has great limitations in terms of content, curriculum that is, but as well as its effectiveness in terms of generating the professional that we need for Africa. Now I have a proposal to share with you. Instead of continuing to lament on this, I thought I should just make a suggestion. Well, what we have in the current and future forestry education, what we need in the current and future forestry education is that the world is looking at it from a perspective of getting more and better food, nutrition security, more and better wood, fiber, fuel, etc., cleaner water, sustainable ecosystems, rich in biodiversity, healthy environments, beautiful cities, resilience to climate change. Now, trees and forests play a big role in all these, and therefore, there's a need for us to really see to what extent we can get there in Africa. But what we have is inadequate volume and quality of food, especially in some drier environments, inadequate and inefficiently used fiber, very inefficiently used fiber, especially when it comes to use of wood for energy, threatened wild species, and forests even, with invasives and so on, poorly managed water resources, and the landscapes in many areas of the continent are degrading. We have ugly settlements. In fact, very interestingly, in Africa, you get to be called a city after you have settled randomly all over the place and then generated enough population, then they start saying, well, this is so many people here, let's make it a forest, let's make it a town. And from there on, you get a new status which you don't deserve because the settlement is not very good. In the first place, it was never planned, and so on. We have threats to forest and tree tenures in different parts of the country as greater and greater demand is coming for agricultural development. And we do have climate change effects which are really affecting us. So, but we are producing foresters every year, and many of them. And in countries like Nigeria, for example, we have so many schools of forestry. In fact, I even wonder, they exceed all the schools of forestry in Africa put together, the rest of Africa put together. So where are all these people going, and what is the work they are doing, and why is it not transforming the continent in the way we want? We still have, in many countries, we still have few graduates, in fact, and quite a few technicians, and weak policies. One critical point that one needs to be put across is that many of the forests in Africa are actually government owned. As a result, much of what we talk about the forest has to link with government, in government employment, government industry-based industries, even if some private sectors are involved. So there's a limit on which you can expand government by increasing the number of foresters and so on. And that's why we have a big challenge. We're producing a forester who looks like a jack of all trades, but can only 1 degree do all these things that we are doing. Therefore, we need to produce graduates with deeper competencies so we can move from awareness, which most foresters in graduation are aware of many issues like I have mentioned in the past slides. However, their biggest challenge is ability to analyze, creativity in solving problems, and so on. So we want a new type of forester with a difference. So we need to grow the forestry education that has branches. Here is a tree with branches. All these branches have fewer leaves, fewer branches, very little knowledge. So in each area of forestry, we are trying to put some knowledge, but not much. I suggest that let us grow the branches bigger. The branches of forestry grow bigger. In agriculture, they have degrees in crop science, in food science, in agribusiness, in soil science, in agricultural economics, and so on. In forestry, we have 1 degree called forestry. Hell, the content is far too much to just be filled into 1 degree. So my suggestion to you all is that we now move into a bigger arrangement where we can have a diversity of specializations, diversified forestry training to produce graduates with specializations, for example, in those 4 areas. Now, I'm not fixed on those areas. I just suggest them for the time being, and they can be discussed. Livelihood and landscape management, agroforestry, urban forestry, wood technology and industries, including energy. And aspects like biodiversity, ecosystem management, climate change, environment and water management must be included in each of these, but then they come out clearly as specialists in these areas. In this way, we'll be able to cater for the demand for foresters in the continent. We'll improve the ability of this person not only to have knowledge about, general knowledge about things, but depth of knowledge to be able to be creative and produce results for the continent. For the first 2 years, the students could do general courses, and then 2 more years of specializations as suggested here. Like I say, these are not fixed. We can discuss and improve on this idea. Now, let me just take this opportunity to thank you all and mention one thing, that at Sokoine University of Agriculture in Tanzania, we just initiated a new PhD program to produce elite scientists. These are 20 students, 4 each coming from Rwanda, Mozambique, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Tanzania, 5 countries. And professors come from all these universities and contribute to the teaching, including Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences, which is the Swedish government is supporting the program. And this 4-year PhD program goes for 1 year of coursework and 3 years of research. And we are aiming at elite scientists. So you just heard about scholarships. This is an opportunity for you. Go to the website and look for Reforest Africa, Reforest Program, and you will see details on that. I thank you very much. This is the future that I am proposing for you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Temo, for the nice proposal. I think it's very needed in all over the world, actually. And of course, there will be more discussion about forest education in the future. And of course, we will welcome you and all the audience to participate in every event that we will have about forest education from now on. Thank you very much, Dr. Temo.
Thank you.
For the audience, we will share a PDF of the book. Please stay tuned. I would like to welcome Magdalena Jovanovic. She is the incoming IPSA president for August 2021 to August 2022. She's a forestry student at the University of Belgrado, Serbia. She has held different positions in IPSA. She was the commissioner for the European Forest Institute, and she has been very active writing blogs and organizing events for students. Very welcome, Magdalena, and congratulations on your new position.
Thank you very much, Sandra, for the introduction as well as the congratulations. Like Sandra said, I'm the newly elected president of IPSA. And as you may know, IPSA is the biggest forestry student association in the world. And as such, forestry education is extremely important to us. As a student association, it is our duty to represent all students and also all regions equally, and in doing so, ensuring that our voice as youth is heard. And I'm here today to give a short speech about the future of forestry education in Africa. And the first step into this discussion is to realize that there is extreme diversity in Africa as a region. And different parts of the region will face different challenges, and as such will call for different actions in general, but also on IPSA's part. And IPSA, as an international organization, has an ability to connect people through international events, networking events, as well as cultural exchanges. And in my opinion, we need to use this ability to provide better opportunities for all students in all regions. And I think this book has done an amazing job already addressing many of these challenges. For an example, the lack of interest in forestry as a future career has been addressed by compiling success stories of many young forestry professionals, and this is meant to raise awareness of forestry as a future career path. Also having in mind that lack of practical facilities as well as network opportunities and many other opportunities is a limiting factor to many African students. This book has done a great job highlighting many educational as well as networking opportunities for African students. And I think the importance of African students as well as forests is going to become more and more relevant in the future. And this is why we need to continue working on projects such as this, which will essentially create more opportunities for African students to advance their career as well as education, and also raise the awareness about forestry as a possible and viable career. And IPSA has already taken a step forward with the joint IPSA-UFRO task force, which has been bringing better education opportunities all around the world, as well as improving education in general. And we as IPSA are grateful to be a part of this amazing project, which will be very useful to our members in the entire region. And I'm personally very thankful to have this opportunity to represent one of IPSA's regions at this book launch, as well as expand my own knowledge on the topic. The feedback I got from some African students was really helpful for me to understand the challenges that this region faces better. And with that, I would like to thank my friend Jafet, who has helped me with writing this speech. And we as IFSA would like to thank everyone who contributed to this project. And we would like to thank UFRO for covering the costs of printing the book. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Magdalena, for introducing IFSA to this presentation and also what will be the contribution of IFSA to the region. Of course, we are having more work to do, and you're very welcome to join us anytime. And again, congratulations on this new position, very important position, by the way. I would like to welcome one of our role models, the Associate Professor Tahiana Ramanando Tandro. She is a professor at the School of Agronomy in University of Antananarivo, Madagascar, where she is also a Deputy Director of Research. Dr. Tahiana is an expert in wood technology. She has been advisor for several master's and PhD students who have developed their research career with success thanks to the commitment of Dr. Tahiana to mentorship them. Welcome, Dr. Tahiana, and thank you for your time and valuable contribution to students.
Thank you for giving me the talk. First of all, I'd like to thank you also for inviting me to give this short talk today and for choosing me to be featured in this book. Can you see the PowerPoint or?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so let's. So I'm going to start. So I'm going to share my experiences about the role of mentors in discovering and nurturing the seed career success in forestry professionals. So I work in France as well as in Madagascar. So next slide, please. As my career is in research and professorship, I mainly work with masters and PhD students. So what is mentorship? How I understand it is mentoring occurs when two individuals decide to work together to achieve specific outcomes for skill growth and development. So it's a relationship with students in order to support them achieve their goals, supporting students to help them develop more effectively, fostering interest in forestry among students, taking an active role in students' education, and helping them explore a stable career. So now most of the tips I'm going to share here with you is not new for most of the professors connected here, but I would like to share them because in Africa, if I say it, we're facing challenges mainly in terms of environment, but also in terms of funding. So, however, we can succeed altogether. So how to be a good mentor? In my opinion, first, we should show enthusiasm and take interest in students. This is valid both in research and teaching. For example, when I teach, I just don't give lectures. I try to give class that grabs the students' attention so that the message can get across easily. We do practical works. Here we visit the wood machining company. Above, in France and below in Madagascar, we touch wood for 80% of the course. Second point, next slide, please. Find slide, please. Okay, so find ways to educate, stimulate, and challenge the mentee. So I try to help students to perform the best they can in order to win international prizes. For example, with my student Ratu here, or here another student, Mur, she is a doctor now, collaborated with high school and students from there, and she appeared in the newspapers in France. Third point, next slide, please. Thank you. Bridging the gap, many gaps that students may have next. So this is regardless of the field. For example, Clarel needed to improve his communication skills because he was shy at the beginning. So she was able to do this by reporting on his thesis work with international journalists who came to Madagascar, or by presenting our project to a public, like you can see here, with all the works we did and the biological material we are working on. Fourth point, next please, is the next, sharing professional networking opportunities. I was lucky enough to have a network of contacts outside of Madagascar. That is because I've been living in France for 14 years, 4 years for study, and 10 years for as a teacher and as a lecturer. So I try to use this network to look for scholarship for the students, sending them to international laboratories for internship or to international conferences and so on. So those travel and experiences help those students create their network of contacts with individuals in their area of interest for their future career, without me for sure. Here we have, for example, Mikala, who was able to demonstrate our research equipment to French researchers in France. Here, Rav was able to attend a conference in Nagoya in Tokyo, or Rad, who was able to learn new skills at the École Supérieure du Bois in Nantes, skills that no other Madagascar student or professionals has yet for now. So next, here are all the countries where in 7 years, students I have mentored were able to study. The fifth point is sharing stories about my own academic and professional journey. This is to better understand their career choices and to give them a practical and realistic picture of the working world. We also have to improve every day because we need to be an up-to-date role model. For example, by reading articles, developing research projects. Here, there are two photos of a laboratory I created with the equipments we bought for research, because we need laboratory, we need to develop research. We also need to go to the field in the forest or to do expertise in the container containing wood logs, for example. So, and finally, and not the least, next please, it's important to establish a sense of community by creating an environment that welcomes questions and open communication among and with the mentees. So I try to create opportunities for mentees to interact with other professionals outside the lab environment, outside the formal work setting. That's all for my presentation. I would like to thank all my mentees, and there are numerous, and thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Kahiana, for helping students to develop their soft and basic competencies. What a wonderful contribution. Our last but not least guest speaker, Mr. Amos Amanubo. I am happy to have the honor to introduce Amos. He was IFSA president from 2019 to 2020. I had the pleasure to meet him in different events and share ideas and thoughts. During his presidential period, Amos supported the task force with great enthusiasm, knowing that forest education is a key component of sustainable forest management. You're very welcome, Amos. I think Amos is muted.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Sandra, for that kind introduction, a nice introduction. And thank you everyone for holding and waiting this far. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's truly a pleasure to connect with each one of you once again. I think this is one of the spaces that I enjoy most, to know that I am going to connect with fellow youth, with people with whom I have shared experiences and challenges, and people with whom we're all looking for the same kinds of opportunities. So I'm definitely happy to be here and share with you just a disclaimer that I didn't organize a presentation, but yeah, we are just going to ride with the tide. The speakers have said a lot from the past, and I hope that I can only add more to what they have said. Where needed, I will also give some emphasis. But first, I am happy to start with a very simple story that struck me from around the start of this year. That's around March. You might have heard that story before if you have attended previous sessions or conferences about forest education. But in March this year is when I moved to Cape Town from Uganda, and I had a business deal with a banking, with Absa Bank, with some of their banking consultants. And I visited this banking consultant. They have not much clue about the environment or forestry. And they asked what I study, and I told them that I study a master's in environment and sustainability. And the reaction struck me in a nice way. They're like, oh, so you study the future? And I told them, yes, I study the future, and it's the present as well. So in simple terms, a lot is being acknowledged about the environment. A lot is being acknowledged about this being a significant part of the future. Momentum is being built towards green growth, stretching from climate change, sustainability, economy, green tech transitions, human health, ecosystem goods and services, and so much more. This has just been done in a space of a very small time. And forestry is no longer what it was seen to be by the rest of the public. It used to be seen as a very limited sector. But when I think of the environment mainly, maybe it's just because I'm a forester, but I tend to think more in the direction of the forest than the other things about the oceans, the green, the blue economy, whatever come along the way. So definitely, as this momentum is growing, the market is growing as well, both at different levels, both in the public sector and the commercial sector, at regional scales, national scales, global environmental initiatives such as the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, the post-2020 Biodiversity Framework, even the AFR 100 initiative for Africa, and the SDGs and the national economies. All of these initiatives and all of these fields are recognizing how important it is, how important forests are, not only to environmental well-being, but to many things that stretch across the social and economic domains. So this should just be a signal that the feeling of forestry as traditionally tree planting and cutting is less than 1% of it now. There is a lot more to forestry. And my word right now at the moment is that if you find yourself here already, or if you plan to continue to grow in that field, you have definitely made a wise choice. But then the question that I have is that as this field keeps growing with lots of opportunities, it's budding for everyone else. The question is, how prepared are we to take up these proliferating opportunities? Besides contributing to environmental sustainability, how can we be sure that all the odds are in our favor in terms of career, in terms of being able to earn, in terms of being able to earn from our choices, make a living from them? There is a lot more that influences our career choices. But the question that always comes in is, how prepared are we to tap into the opportunities that come along in this particular sector? I think as someone who once had these questions in my mind, how prepared I am, is this sector worth it? I know that there is a purpose of contributing to the environment, but in terms of feeding myself, in terms of being to earn a living and so on, as someone who once had these questions, I can only say right now that I am very sure this is a worthwhile career, that you choose to study forest education and that you choose to count on it not only to sustain the environment and contribute to the society, but also make a living out of it. I sort of had a challenge accepting this, right? This as a career choice, not because I had it in mind that this is how I would contribute to the society, this is how I would be adding value to the environment and so on. But how the society saw it then when I was enrolling to study forestry was different. It's always very different how they see it relative to the other fields like medicine, law, engineering. But the good news is that that is not the message right now. That is not the impression. The scope of forestry is growing, is increasing very fast. Previous speakers have highlighted this very much. And so is the scope of forest education itself. I cannot fully accurately imagine what that will look like in the next 10 years or so, but I can imagine that it will only be very broad with lots of learning and career opportunities. This is already something that is in progression, that has been made several times. The previous speakers have said it. And we see that young people from different other sectors are moving into forestry, from engineering, from agriculture. They're moving into forestry, and you've heard about this green growth and so on. But the question for us is, the challenge for us who are studying forestry already is, what are we who are already in this field doing? Professor August mentioned that the number of people studying in forestry in Nigeria, or rather the institutions offering forestry in Nigeria, are much more than the rest of Africa combined. The question is, what are these people doing and where are they going to? We sort of, I don't want to call it lamentations, but for lack of a better word, I'll call it that there are no opportunities. But I think there are opportunities that we need to be more deliberate about. You may already also have had during the International Conference on Forest Education about the outcry of the steep learning curve between the industry and academia. For now, I would say that your classroom alone is not capable to fill that gap between the academia and the industry. If you want to transition, you will definitely learn that. I learned this from my own experiences. You can't learn everything from the classroom. I think this is the message that has been passed from the previous speakers. So how can you prepare yourself to sort of start tapping into the other opportunities that equally prepare you to harness this career choice that you have? How prepared are you to capture these opportunities and to enhance your stakes as well as learning opportunities? Depends on how proactive you are in tapping into other learning platforms, enlarging your social capital, among others. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. I think the main message, that the gist of the message is that we should sort of start to inspire ourselves to sort of drive, to have that sense of self-drive. There is a lot of opportunities out there for us to go. There is a lot of free access forest education learning platforms online. I could mention numbers of them. Some of them have been mentioned by Scovey and so on. You can talk about the GFIS, the Global Forest Information Service. That's also run by AUFRO. This publication that is being launched today, among many other opportunities. And there are also other associations for you to grow your social capital and challenge yourself. I personally challenged myself through IFSA, knowing that I was from this background where forestry is only thought of as planting and cutting trees, sort of looked at as a very minimized sector. But when I stepped into IFSA, I began to see that there is actually a lot much more. And there were people who were proud of doing forestry, and they were keen that this is their breadwinner and this is the way they will contribute to the environment. So my honest advice to you is that I think it is time for you to start to explore a little more. I think it is time for you to recreate yourself. I think you should give yourself the competitive edge to get hold of the best opportunities. The best skills that you need in tapping into this field, into even the career sector, the employment sector, as well as the academia. I think the best skill that you need, that I will ever recommend to you, if I recommend any, is to develop a sharp sense of intellectual curiosity. And it is up to you to create your own visibility and put yourself out there. There is a lot of these opportunities, but being deliberate about finding them is just one of the many. I want to sincerely thank everyone that has stand up here. It gives me a feeling that there is people that are curious about knowing what's happening out there and about tapping into it. And I want to thank the JTF team for having prepared this publication to sort of showcase and try to continue this trend of inspiration, the message that we are trying to pass out, that this is a worthwhile career choice, that in the next few years, it is already in progress now, that they're talking about green transitions and so on. So you should begin to rethink yourself in the broader forestry sector, where you want to be in, and start to build yourself in that direction. Personally, I'm also trying to build myself at the moment. And so I hope that we can grow in this field together. And I'm always available to sort of support and see how we can grow in it together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amos, for stressing why forest education is important for the near future. And also for let us realize that although there are many challenges, we also have several opportunities to prepare for the future. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite again to the Mentimeter. Please take some minutes to answer our last question. And if you don't have access to the web, please write your answer in the chat box. The link for the Mentimeter is in the chat. Please take some minutes. This answer is going to be a little bit more elaborated, so I can wait a little bit more for you.
Listen to my little story about a boy who's got a dream to become all he wants to be. In Papa not farmer, in Mama not trader, but like Jumbo, they send them to school to become the doctor where go heal their wounds. But him go university, but no be doctor in one be. He say he want do forestry. He want be person where they plant trees. Papa say he don't fall him hand. Mama say he don't spoil the plan. But why? I wish say you could understand. Take this message to Papa. Tell him say hope day. Tell him say hope day. Hope day. Take this message to Mama. Tell her say hope day. Tell her say hope day. Plant the trees, we go heal the world. We go plant the trees and we go heal the world. I remember the good old days when we used to play on a rainy day, singing rain, rain, go away, come again another day. But see the climates are changing, the trees are falling, the oceans are rising, the sun is scorching. Oyibo man say na global warming, African man say the girls are angry, the preacher man say it's judgment.
What a beautiful song. Alex, could you please share Mentimeter? Okay, I will try to read some of the answers. The national policymakers and education curriculum should incorporate and consider forestry provide support just like other sectors. I will suggest creating of more forestry-related job opportunities will help better. By showcasing the problem-solving potentials in the field more, awareness events, that's good. Workshops, seminars, oh, couldn't read. The mentorship for young people, creating a great network with presentations on all countries. Okay, thank you very much for all your valuable answers. We will save them and we will collect them and use them for our future research and work. Thank you very much. Forestry education is our tool to build a more sustainable livelihoods. It provides us the knowledge to identify solutions to solve one of the most precious issues of the world, such as climate change. IPSA members prepare an event to promote this book. This is the time for IPSA to share with you your work and participation during the process of the book publication. I give the floor to Alex and Magdalena.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Mr. Koyemi, please let me present from here. Sorry. Okay. Can you please see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you everybody for waiting thus far. I'm going to be talking quickly about the YAFP open call for local events. For the introduction, yes, we made an open call last month asking universities to submit a proposal to organize an event to launch this same book in their universities on grant. And the idea is that parents and many school leavers seeking admissions into universities do not know the career opportunities in studying forestry. And also, university students should also be notified of an important publication like this book to help in their career. The event purpose is to raise awareness and promote the book among university and high school students across Africa. IFSA created this open call for local communities in Africa to organize a local event. Sorry, somebody is making some annotations. Okay, yes, I continue. Oh, sorry, my video was off. Okay. Yes, IFSA made this evaluation through members of the Capacity Development Commissions. We received 9 applications from 3 African countries. An evaluation was done by 4 members of the IFSA Capacity Development Commission, and the final selection award was done by the IFSA board. I hereby call on the IFSA president to announce the results. IFSA president.
Thank you. I could not unmute myself for a second. Can you go to the next slide? Thank you. So like Alex said, the project proposals were carefully evaluated by the IFSA board, and these are the 6 LCs that IFSA has decided to fund. So we have LC EXU from Nigeria, LC UFSA Unilorin from Nigeria, LC FOFSA Unizik from Nigeria, LC NARMSA from Sierra Leone, LC FAMU from Uganda, and LC FUTA from Nigeria. Can you move to the next slide? Thank you. So the instructions for the open call winners are that the IFSA board and YAFP team will get in touch with you or with the local committees that were selected. And you will also receive some extra hard copies of the book in order to distribute them at your local event. And you can expect the promotion of your local event on IFSA and UFO networks, as well as newsletters and websites. And as you know, the reimbursement of the allocated funds will be made after your event. And you can also expect further non-financial support from IFSA. Again, thank you everyone who applied for this open call. And again, we are very happy to be able to fund these 6 amazing projects. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Magdalena, and congratulations to the winners. We expect to have a very interesting events, and of course with our support. We can give them an applause. Alex.
Yes.
I give the floor to you.
Okay, Sandra, thank you very much. Now we have come to almost the end of the launching. And now on behalf of the team and the Joint IFSA Task Force on Forest Education, IFSA, and all the students who will read this book, who will be inspired by this book, I want to say, I hereby declare this book launched. And here is the hard copy of the book. And here is it. You can see it. So this book should arrive in your university soon, and you will have access to read it. And moving from there, I would share my screen on how you can have access to the PDF of the book, and for universities who have joined us for this meeting, how you can request for the hard copy of the book. The book can only be requested by the university, but the soft copy is made available by some. I'm going to display my slide now. Yes. So the book is now launched, and here is the picture of the book in full gallery, and I'll present some information now. You can download the book by following the link on your screen, bit.ly/YAFP Africa book. You'll get to the UFO website and you find the link to download the PDF. It's free to download forever. So we wish you happy reading. And for universities offering forestry and related and forest-related degrees in Africa, you can order free hard copies of the book by following the link on your screen. We expect that the form should be preferably filled by the head of department or student association advisors, and the deadline is October 15. Please fill the form on time. We have very limited copies. And if you have any inquiries or feedback, you can write to us at gtf.education@ifsa.net. Once again, you can download the book free of charge online, even right away as we talk on this website, and you can order for the hard copies of the book. Thanks to the funding provided, we'll be shipping the book to Africa soon as we receive your request. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for the launching. Can you please drop the links in the chat box so people will get access to it?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Finally, we want to let you know that the song we were listening during the break was written and composed by a forest student, Sydney Owoche, from University of Marduki. The title of the song is Hope Day. This is the end of our event. Thank you very much for your assistance. And we hope this is an opportunity for the continent and for the forest education of the continent to succeed.
Thank you very much, Sandra. But before you go, I'll share my screen to just show you some announcement from our end at the JTF. Please just take a look. Some announcement from us. Yesterday, we recently published a book on guide to teach forestry-based entrepreneurship. It's available on our website, and here is a picture. And we also call on you to act on forest education by helping to sign this open call. Thank you very much. The JTF position is also available now, and we're looking for the coordinator, the deputy coordinator. You can apply and be the next coordinator. Myself and Juliet, we are going already. So please check IFSA website to learn how to apply for the JTF position. Thank you very much.
Alex, again, can you please drop off the links in the chat box?
Yes, I will drop all of them.
Thank you. Have a good one, everyone.
Say you be understand. Take this message to Papa. Tell him say hope day. Tell him say hope day. Hope day. Take this message to Mama. Tell her say hope day. Tell her say hope day. Hope day. Take this message to Papa. Plant a tree, 3, 4, we gon' make a green. 5, 6, keep it clean. 7, 8, hope a day. Like 1, 2, we gon' plant a tree. 3, 4, we gon' make it green. 5, 6, keep it clean. 7, 8, hope a day. Hope a day. Hope a day. Hope day, hope day. Take this message to Papa. Tell him say hope day. Tell him say hope day. Hope day. Take this message to Mama.